What's going on, NASCAR peeps, and welcome to another episode of 3 Wide with Tom Ludermoser. So today is about 48 hours, give or take some, a little bit more actually, since the call from NASCAR, which you guys saw the video, some of you guys saw the video that I did on it, with NASCAR banning the Confederate flag from all tracks and NASCAR events. So this is a little different than the previous ban, where it was banned in the official capacity. So obviously no tracks, no teams, no haulers, nothing like that. This one is a total ban. This one is a ban from you, myself, Joe Blow, Joe Schmo, and his mom from bringing the Confederate flag to the race. Now, I know there's a lot of people that obviously it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. A great many people think it is extremely offensive, and they think that it should be totally banned everywhere in the country. No one should be allowed to buy it, yada, yada, yada. It is protected under the First Amendment as freedom of speech, which, as a kind of a libertarian type guy, I wholeheartedly understand and accept. I don't like it. I haven't owned one in about 10 years, maybe longer than that. I gave it away to some people who do like those flags and do appreciate those flags. So, you know, it is what it is. Now, like I said, it's been about, give or take, 48 hours or so since the call from NASCAR. And you guys who did watch that previous video know where I stand on the flag and the banning. You know where I stood and kind of imagined everything going from there. Obviously, there's some different stuff going on. It's a little bit different. We see the actual responses now. I posted that video an hour, 2 hours after the call. So obviously we didn't know what was going to happen, the responses. And overwhelmingly, NASCAR has received a huge amount of praise. Tons of praise in the media, tons of praise from their fan base, tons of praise from the competitors, tons of praise from other sporting sporting organizations. So they've received a lot of praise. A lot of people, including some people on YouTube, they're calling this the step forward for NASCAR. And, you know, I think it is going to eventually bite them, but I do also think that in the longer run, it probably will help. And we're starting to see that pretty darn quickly. So just for an example, you know, we've seen a lot of stuff changing. We've seen a lot of different responses. You go on to Google search, and it is the 12th today. Let's see, 3:38 that I'm recording this. 3:38 p.m. on the 12th of June, 2020, and I just did a Google search, straight Google search. The first thing I saw was Fox News reporting Bubba Wallace's dad is concerned about his safety after Confederate flag ban by NASCAR. That's unacceptable. That's, you know, do I think there's a legitimate, you know, threat to his safety? Obviously, I don't know. We don't know. There very well may be, and any threat of physical harm to anyone for having a different political opinion is absolutely unacceptable in my eyes. And as someone who typically leans more towards the right on the political spectrum, I'm one of those people. I have been threatened. I have had my daughter threatened because of my political views. My daughter's 2, by the way, to give you an idea. You know, so the pettiness and that stuff needs to stop. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's against me, if it's against you, or if it's against Bubba. That stuff's got to stop. It really does. You know, so for that to come across my screen here, that's a shame. To those of you guys who are saying anything, or whether they have received any, which I'm sure they have, let's just be honest, I'm sure they have, you're a useless pile, and I hope you receive bad things. I'll make it PG. You go to, next thing I saw, NESN, the family of the first black driver to win in NASCAR, a NASCAR race, Wendell Scott, for those of you guys who don't know, requests a formal trophy. That's another thing. It's a shame that they have to wait this long to kind of bring that up. it's kind of it is a shame that NASCAR hasn't already. They have admitted their guilt. They have admitted wrongdoing, but they did it for his safety, which I do understand. A black man winning a race at that time and age. I understand what they did, but it's been too long to kind of correct that. So I do wholeheartedly agree. It's time to send that over. So this has brought a ton of light to on social media. It's the #1 trend on social media for the last couple of days. NASCAR. NASCAR bans Confederate flag. That's a huge deal, and it's bringing a lot of publicity to our sport. Whether it be good or bad publicity, it's the biggest thing in the news right now. ESPN. A lot of sporting guys that I've never heard of before. I watched probably 15, 20 videos yesterday on these guys' response. And it's huge. The amount of response is huge. Now, of course, as with social media, you got people on one side of the spectrum, you got people on the other side of the spectrum. There's a lot of people in the middle, kind of like me. I don't care. Bring your flag. If someone, tells you it's offensive, don't throw a temper tantrum. But also, I'm the kind of person, don't throw a temper tantrum about people bringing it. I've heard from Eric Astep. I've heard from a couple of the drivers, not specifically to me, obviously, but I've listened and watched to some of these guys talk about how uninclusive it makes it feel, and maybe that's what's hindered NASCAR from growing over the past couple of years. I live in Michigan. I've been to Michigan International Speedway numerous times. I've been to the infield a couple times. You don't see that many Confederate flags at majority of NASCAR tracks. Now, down south, yeah, oh yeah. Talladega, oh yeah. They're not outnumbering the American flag in any way, shape, or form. And in fact, if you watch some of the videos and you see some of the home videos at the infield, even at Talladega, which is typically where you're going to see the most, you've seen the number of flags start to dwindle. It is a problem that is slowly going away. Yes, it needed to go away a little faster, but I'm also the kind of person where if you're talking about NASCAR being inclusive to everyone, which they have said they are, you have to draw a line on who you ban and what you ban. Bob Pockrass said, posted a tweet with the video from Brad Keselowski. It doesn't mean anything to him. He supports the ban, but it's not NASCAR's call. It's not our call, however they worded it. That I agree with. Support the ban. I get it. I understand it. NASCAR is its own entity. It's its own business. It has its own brand. It has to market. But I get it. I do. I definitely do. But Jenna Fryer actually said it best, and this is one that I can agree with. This is one that I can definitely stand with and understand the concern, and that is, how do you enforce it? How exactly do you enforce it? So I'm going to try and find her actual tweet here. Bear with me one quick second. I do apologize. I had it ready to go, guys. I'm sorry, but my computer decided I want to boost everything back up to the top of the screen. Okay, so here's a quote from Jenna Fryer on Twitter, responding to the Associated Press. Breaking NASCAR bans Confederate flag from its races and properties because of associations with racism and slavery. Jenna Fryer responded, NASCAR, okay, but things NASCAR didn't address. How will they enforce? It's a legitimate question. It really is. They couldn't the last go around. She put, which she's right. What does this cover? T-shirts, license plates, or just the displaying of the actual flag? Will be interesting to hear what sort of enforcement is planned. 100%. I do agree with that. That is probably the most logical response I've seen to this. I do understand the ban. I do understand it all, but that is definitely a justifiable response. So, big time response. Jim Roberts on Twitter gives credit Bubba Wallace, NASCAR's only first-time African-American driver, with leading the charge to ban Confederate flags from racetracks. That was June 10th. And then you kind of scroll through the rest of this, and this is mlive.com. This is a Michigan thing, a Michigan news website. So they're referring to Brad Keselowski on this page, on this article, because he's from Michigan. So you've got tons and tons of examples of people defending the Confederate flag, defending NASCAR's choices, defending, you got people making images of the actual Confederate flag, because the one that you have in your head right now is not the actual Confederate flag. It's the Northern Virginia battle flag, the stars and bars. People saying what it actually represents. So, you got a ton of that stuff. And, that's very, very, very different opinions on everything. You got the RIP NASCAR 1984 to 2020 cause of death attacking its fan base. I do agree that it is attacking its fan base. It is a substantial portion of its fan base. I don't think NASCAR is going to die because of it. In fact, I think they will hit a pretty stagnant number. Maybe not necessarily quickly, but I do think it will benefit them in the long run. I do agree it is going to hurt them for a bit, but you got, and like I said in the last video, I do agree with what Brad Keselowski said and exactly how he said it. And I'm gonna read that quote to you here. "I only salute one flag, and that's America's. I recognize that the flag," referring to the Virginia battle flag, "might mean something different to different people, but it doesn't mean United States of America to me." And we all know what he's famous for when he wins. He throws that big old American flag, he crams it in his window, and he does his burnouts, nice smoky burnouts with the American flag. It's pretty sweet. I've always loved that. Let's see, where did I leave off? Oh, wait. But I'm not going to tell people they need to get rid of it. That's not my right either. But I certainly don't salute it or respect it, or probably anyone else who feels the same way. But at the end of the day, it's not our call. I can agree with that one. I definitely can agree with that. It's a tricky slope. I mean, it's slippery slope. Sorry. It kind of depends on where you stand on it. Some people don't see it as racist. They see it as the pride thing. I'm not getting into all that. So, more news from NASCAR. And this was a big one yesterday. You got Beam Designs. And I want to find the actual tweet here, so bear with me. If I'm not looking directly at the camera, I'm trying to find the actual tweet. Sorry, my computer is very slow. But anyways, so you've got Beam Designs ended up posting something stating along the lines of, not wanting to erase history. I'm going to read the whole tweet to you here. But the result of that tweet was that Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, all of these drivers have severed their ties with Beam Designs. They are a helmet painter. Let's see. They are the helmet designer that a lot of these guys worked with, and they've worked with them for a long time. Man, I cannot find the actual tweet. Did they take it down? But anyways, so you got Joey Logano. "I'm proud of the recent decisions our sport has made, and it's important for me to be associated with like-minded people. For that reason, due to some recent tweets from Beam Designs, I will no longer be utilizing their services." Ryan Blaney, "In light of some inappropriate tweets, I will no longer use the services of Beam Designs." That was Twitter 23 hours ago. 1 day ago, Jimmy Johnson, "Due to recent posts on social media, I have decided to end my relationship with Beam Designs." Bubba Wallace said, he respected the talent, loved some of the designs, but not cool. Not very happy. Beam Designs actually responded back 1 day ago. "Breaking, I lost 13 followers yesterday for not wanting to erase history. The plus side, I gained 36 new followers. I was never good at math, and had kind of a puzzled looking emoji there. And then he aimed it at Kim Kuhn, Katie Nolan, and Jeff Gluck, because Jeff Gluck posted. Maybe this will be the actual thing. We'll see. I want to actually find the real Twitter comment. But also in the news is, and here's another one that was kind of number one trend on Twitter. With only 34 truck starts, I think he had one top 10 if I'm not mistaken. Truck Series owner and racer Ray Ciccarelli. I've heard the name before, saw the pictures, saw the images, kind of recognized the guy. Like I said, I've heard the name before, but never really popped into my head. He's quitting NASCAR because of their call. Used a little colorful language in his tweet and his post, but he said he's leaving NASCAR at the end of the year, which is a little weird because he has no starts this year. So, kind of called out. He's kind of called out NASCAR for their kind of their lift on their ban on kneeling for the national anthem out of the Confederate ban, and that is the one thing I have a problem with. That's just not. I don't find that to be appropriate, kneeling for the flag, for the anthem. That's me. Everybody's different. Man, I cannot find this tweet. I apologize. But anyways, so, you've got this guy who is basically a nobody in NASCAR. I've watched numerous YouTube channels, videos about the ban on the flags and everything. Nobody really knows who this guy is. And one of the things that really made its rounds on social media, especially Facebook, saw a little bit on Instagram, and that was, I'm going to assume this was a fake NASCAR post, him stating he's leaving, and then NASCAR's Twitter responding, saying, like I said, I assume this is a fake post. NASCAR's response being, we had to Google who you were, or something like that. I had to Google your name. I don't even know who you are. It's funny, but it's kind of accurate. I'm a big NASCAR fan. I recognize a lot of names that some of you guys might not recognize. I recognize that name, but I had no idea who he was. But anyways, so it should kind of just give you an idea of some of the stuff that's going on. You get a lot of NASCAR fans talking about how they are leaving and NASCAR's really screwing them and screwing themselves. And I get it in one hand. As a libertarian, I do get it. But on the other hand, it's... Come on, guys. Let's be real here. Yeah. Something went wrong, try again. Thanks, Twitter. Anyways, so I do appreciate you watching the video, especially if you watch the whole thing. This is, like I said, this is just a follow-up, and this is obviously a much longer video than the last one, which was only about 10 to 12 minutes long. This one is 18:21 at this point. So I do apologize for kind of ranting and raving and rolling on. But NASCAR has, to sum it all up, NASCAR's gotten tremendous support. It had great TV ratings, whether that be just because it was the first night race at Martinsville, or the fact Bubba went out there, got himself an 11th place finish, which, like I've said, it's not his best finish, but it was his best race by far, his best performance. I've seen some people kind of criticize other drivers for not getting into him, not bumping him, not retaliating for him driving uber aggressively. I think if he didn't have that car and he wasn't, some of these guys said that if he didn't have that car and wasn't in the limelight, in the spotlight, that he probably would have been wrecked, or dumped, or just flat out junked. I do kind of agree with that, not entirely. I think he was just being very, very aggressive in the race. So congratulations, Bubba. I give all the credit in the world for bringing the light to NASCAR, kind of pushing it. NASCAR did respond pretty quickly, so congratulations to them. But like I said on the Wendell Scott thing, get your stuff together, send that family a trophy. And I don't remember on the story if he got paid for that win. Send him the money too, NASCAR. Send him the money brought up for inflation. I think that would be pretty cool of you guys to do, even though it's kind of a mute point at this time, the money part, but I think that'd be the right thing to do. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'm actually going to share this on my personal Facebook, and I know a lot of my family doesn't really know that I do this or care that I do this. I don't have a lot of NASCAR fans in my friends or family, so I'm going to share this on there because this is one where it is in the public light, and it's my opinion. Kind of brings the internet and the media to your idea if you're not looking at it or seeing it, but it's everywhere. How do you miss it? Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for your support on the channel. So I am going to share the Patreon as well as my new Facebook page specifically for the channel. And I'm going to do a Twitter too. I've never been on Twitter. I think I'm going to do a Twitter too. So follow those if you guys are on here and you're interested. As always, if you're interested in any die casts, let me know. I got some pretty cool stuff up here, which is just my display, but I'm going to switch that up just about every video. Give you guys a little taste of something different. So if you're interested, let me know. Have a great rest of your day.